Alrighty, welcome back to episode 4 of Building in Public, and I figured there's no better way to build in public than literally talk about it in public. Also, at the same time, I feel like just doing uncomfortable things is an easy way to get comfortable in general, no matter where you are. So, without further ado, this is a weekly series where I go through all the learnings, lessons, and anything that I can distill to you guys of value for your own business or your clients to hopefully find wins, success, and ultimately just a little bit of more freedom and time. So let's just get into it. So we'll start with active clients. We are still at 5 active clients. As mentioned, we only do intakes on the 1st or the 14th of every month. So as it stands right now, we are also doing a ceasefire. So no more clients are going to be coming on board until we can refine 2 things. 1, our internal onboarding system. I want it to be smoother. 2, I also want to find a better way to start qualifying the leads that are coming through. Since last week, I've been running the ads and they've been absolutely crushing it. But the problem is, are they really crushing it when the leads that are booking in aren't exactly qualified? So we're now kind of looking at the creative, looking at the copy, and also looking at the questions that they fill in on the Calendly or the type form, and kind of figure out if there's a way that we can maybe add a little bit of friction that causes the brands who maybe don't have the patience or the time to kind of disappear. I'm in no rush to get an ADHD client who can't sit through a 10-minute video about me explaining my process and why it's going to save them tens of thousands. I'm really looking for the client who can sit there and really take and learn from what we're doing and saying and see the value themselves. So that's where it starts, and it almost ties in perfectly to, I guess, like what we're currently building. So what we're currently building is essentially a secondary offer to support our clients in their journey before they find us. What I mean by that is, we currently only work with clients doing above $25,000 a month. However, that is obviously a niched client. So although it is a very strong offer, and that's why we're able to have the guarantee attached to it because of the qualifying factors to get them to that point anyway, I really want to see if I can meet my clients earlier on their journey, provide them with value and success that's going to get them to qualify for my other offer. So then I basically create my own clients. It's a huge gamble. It's definitely a little bit scary. I haven't really felt this excited about an offer in a long time, like butterflies in the stomach kind of offer. But I know this is where the path forward needs to be. So what I'd love to do is even just kind of share with you how we break down if an offer is going to work or not and validate it within the market. And it's a really simple 3-step process, and let's do it. The first step is called mapping. Now, mapping for us is when we book in or find 5 to 10 clients who are our ideal target audience and buy them a coffee, pay them money, or even if they're just friends, sit down and get them to go through a questionnaire / onboarding form, I guess. Really what we want to do is figure out if the pain points we think we're trying to solve exist within the market and aren't just outliers. You know, we want to make sure there is a trend of this issue or problem that needs solving within the industry, so the actual offer can be scalable and sold to multiple brands. We also will use this as a case to kind of, I guess, see what the capacity is in terms of financial investment from a brand for the offer. This is like a really easy way to figure out what your price point should be. Obviously, you set the questions you're going to ask, so don't say 0. You know, start 500 to 1,000, 1,000 to 5,000, 5,000, 10,000, and seeing where they get comfortable. A pro tip here is if you can do it in person, you will find so much more nuance and, I guess, like insights to what a client is actually going through that it'll tenfold any virtual meetings. There's also no excuse this day and age for people who will say, oh, what if I can't find my ideal target audience? LinkedIn, clay.com, there is hundreds of free cold outreach, warm outreach softwares, and also there is nothing wrong with approaching a brand in person. You're telling me there is no brand in your local area, big or small, that probably couldn't answer these questions and validate them? It essentially has to boil down to how much do you believe in this offer? And if you really do believe in it, you will go that extra mile. You have to get comfortable doing the uncomfortable things, and that'll be the only differentiation between someone succeeding and someone not. So that's number 1, mapping. 2 is molding. Now, molding is essentially where we start to run beta tests where we invite 2 to 5 brands for free or at a heavily reduced rate to go through the system, through the offer, and really put it under a stress test. See where this offer breaks, because it will, and what needs to be changed. What we will do is then take all of those testimonials that we get, because let's be honest, it will work eventually, and use all of that for the marketing purposes. So that leads us to the last one, which is launching. And launching is essentially obviously going live with the offer organically, paid. We also use all the testimonials and any of the learnings from the beta testing for marketing resources, and essentially we go live with it. It's an incredible way to have social proof built into an offer before you even launch, versus launching an offer, no proof, trying to get your first client, it fails. I'll be honest with this is not a time-friendly way to create an offer. It is a very, very high bar to entry, and it requires time and effort, but I promise you this, those who are willing to go through this process will have such great success compared to those who just launch and go with it. Alex Hormozy has a quote, and I'm probably going to absolutely butcher it, but you basically want to have a stack of undeniable proof of who you are. And imagine having that undeniable proof as you go and present this offer to a client. All right, so the win of the week is actually a bit of a personal one, so feel free to skip it, but it ties into business in this weird way where it's the luxury of being able to spend time with my family. I've noticed over the past 4 months in particular, because my sister just had the first grandchild of the family, a niece, Billy. She's absolutely beautiful, and I couldn't imagine a world where I can't spend as much time with her as I can to be the uncle I want to be and be there to support them in any way possible. And I'm so fucking grateful that I pursued this path and building this company, because I think it's very easy to get lost in the word freedom for building a company. And for me, my freedom, my North Star, is really to spend time with people who I care about. That is the goal. The more time I have with them, the more fulfilled I am as a human. It's that simple. So for me, I'm able to, in my mind, work harder and longer, because this win is not for me. This win is for everyone I love. The win is so I can spoil my mum, spoil my dad, spoil my niece, my partner, and everyone around me. And that drive, that's not a coming and going thing. In fact, it's gets stronger as time goes on, because I see the urgency. So the win of the week is really just family. So the learning I want to touch on is actually a framework for how to break down your goals into actionable steps. Sometimes when we're going down this route of business and trying to pursue things that seem larger than life, it's very hard to find tangible steps to actually action them. So this is the exercise I use maybe every 6 months to kind of like hone in and focus on the goal and where I need to be. So the exercise is called For This to Be True. So a really easy example is like my company. For my company to be doing $60,000 a month in revenue, recurring, what has to be true? I break it down into like 2 areas, 1 personal, 2 professional. I then divide it even further into online and offline. I then start making a list. For online, both of my personal and professional areas will probably have some level of a content system or plan put into place. That is probably bringing in leads, or at least building an online audience and establishing myself as an expert leader. Offline, for my professional, we probably would have hired an additional editor to increase our capacity by about 30%. Offline, for my personal, is I understand how important health is and the amount of work that's going to require to get me to where this needs to be. And the reality is healthy body, healthy mind. So I know my health needs to look better for my goals to be bigger. How many people do you see ultra successful in this day and age who don't also have a healthy lifestyle to accompany it? I think there is a trend. So I know that my healthiest self at the best version is probably training 5 to 6 times a week. So then what I do is, now that I've gone forth and I've made a list that's a little bit longer in all of them, I then break it down into daily, weekly, monthly tasks. I then start to make them checklists to go off in action. So for example, for the health, if I need to train once a day, that's a daily to-do list. If I need to post 5 days a week, that's a weekly task. If I need to save X amount of revenue to reinvest later, that's a monthly task. All of a sudden, this goal of hitting 60K is not that impossible, because I know what myself at 60K would be doing. And any learnings I have along the way and I add to it just refines the process even further. And I know this feels uncomfortable, feels pointless, feels just like scribbles on a page, affirmations, the screaming in the mirror, I will want to be happy, healthy, and thriving. But I promise you this, that's the reason most people quit. Most people quit because they go, this is hard, or this is uncomfortable, this is cringe, quote unquote. And the only difference between those who win and those who lose are ones who can stay in the uncomfortable space the longest. I promise. You really just have to think, to get something you've never had, you must do something you've never done. And if you've never done a goal setting exercise, this is an easy one to start. So give it a crack. And the last bit of value for the week is the creative of the week, and this is a banger. So this is for an old client we worked with called Privacy Clo. They are a luxury menswear brand based in Australia. They sell luxury blanks and tees, and honestly, incredible. I own some of their products myself because I'm a genuine fan, but when we were working with them, we found a lot of movement with this type of creative, which we coined a lo-fi UGC. A lo-fi UGC is essentially UGC with no real copy, no captions, no transitions, no call to action. I wanted to almost appear as native to the platform as possible. We then supplement that with a testimonial, a review from the website. So the catch here with this is making sure the review is within 3 months. I'd say that's kind of like as far as I'd go. If you have a review from like 2014 saying like this is the best tea ever, you have bigger problems than your ad creatives. That's all I'll say. So looking at that, and the reason I recommend this creative to everyone is because of how scalable it is. Your ability to produce this at scale is only limited by your location, your phone, and the obviously reviews your clients leave. But even if you have 20 reviews, you have 20 potential ad ideas instantly without having to do anything. All you need to do is grab the phone and go and record. The catch is here, one, making sure that it is somewhat upbeat, trendy, use trending audio if need be, and also no addy nonsense. Uglier the better. I want product focus. I want zoom in, pixelated, feels like my mum could film it shit. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. That truly is it. We are in a downward spiral on how to make the ugliest ads because we all know what an ad looks like and we don't like buying from it. That's the brutal truth. So steal this creative either for yourself or your client, and I promise it will move the needle. All right, well that's episode 4 of Building in Public. Again, this is a very awkward moment for me. There is currently a soccer team setting up to play a game, so I'm a little bit nervous and slightly embarrassed. But I'm working through this uncomfortable feeling and hopefully distilling some value and lessons to you. All of our socials are down below if you want to follow along a bit more closely. And the only thing I ask, if I can ask anything, is if you could please leave a comment down below of anything you'd like to see more of. I'm obviously just spitting at the wind here and hoping you find value. And we are growing slowly and I love that, but I'd love to have more of an open and honest conversation. So until next week, have an amazing week. Don't let them win. Fuck, let's get out of here. Chee puppy.